Every day in the USA, people find themselves in court.
All right, we have two landlord-tenant matters to start this morning as non-payment of rent. One is Jim Giosa and the other is Michaela Baker and Gabriel Hton. Our first case is 9 a.m., which is James Giosa. You said it Giosa?
That's correct, Your Honor.
Mr. Thompson is not here. This is his party. He filed the action. He's not here on either of your cases. Mr. Giosa, have you paid the rent?
I became unemployed and I had they gave me 5 days to vacate. I've had a great relationship with Mr. Thompson, done tons of work for him, and I vacated within 5 days. And the 1 month that I was, because we were on a month-to-month that I was late, I accepted. I told him I would pay him as soon as I got back to work. He said, well, I can't have you there living rent-free. I said, I completely understand. I said, can I get 30 days? He said, no, I need you out in 5. I said, no problem. I've got pictures. The place is absolutely spotless. And I told him he could take the $800 security deposit that I had toward the 1 month rent, which would negate it. And he said there's additional court fees for $176.50. I said, I'll go ahead and I'll pay that when I have it. And he said, tell it to the judge.
He's not even here. He can't give you 5 days to vacate. He has to give you what a rental period is, which would be 30 days. He gave you a 7-day notice to quit, but your rent is month to month. So he needed to give you 30 days and he can't kick you out. I can. Just because he tells you you have to leave, it's not up to him, it's up to me. So you would have been entitled to have a hearing, but you have vacated?
Yes, sir. Yes, Your Honor.
Well, he isn't even here, so you got to tell it to the judge, but he's not here. Doesn't have a lawyer, and he doesn't seem to completely understand the Landlord-Tenant Relationship Act. Defendant has vacated. Plaintiff fails to appear. Well, here he is. Mr. Thompson.
Somebody else right now.
All right, Miss Martin and Mr. Smith just remain quiet. Mr. Thompson, can you hear me?
Yes, sir, I can hear you.
All right, you're 8 minutes late for your hearing. We've been stalling for 8 minutes. And if you can't appear by Zoom, I can have you come in live and in person.
Yes, sir.
Your first client, Mr. Giosa, says you told him he had 5 days to move. And he couldn't stay there for free. So he says he has vacated.
Yes, sir.
That isn't how it works. He had a 30-day month-to-month tenancy. You were required to give him 30 days notice. You gave him a 7-day notice to quit. So you're representing yourself, but you don't really understand the law very well. And then you show up late, which does not make me very happy. Anyway, he is vacated. He's no longer there. You did file a supplemental complaint for money damages. As he indicated, he was going to allow you to take the security deposit for back rent. Mr. Giosa, he did pay the
Yes.
fee for supplemental money damages. So after you vacate, you need to turn in your keys and give your forwarding address in writing within 4 days of moving. Have you done that?
Yes, Your Honor. I did that via text to Ben, gave him my address. He asked me
All
for
right.
that.
All right. Well, you vacated. There may be a subsequent hearing regarding money damages, but the possession case is dismissed. Defendant has vacated. Do you agree with that, Mr. Thompson?
Yeah, yes, sir.
All right. Once you take possession of the premises, you can determine what you're going to do. And if you wish to file a claim for money damages, you can do that.
The claim, sir, for the money damages, the claim should already be included with that filing as well. There's a couple things. And one, I do apologize. I had some computer issues on the VPN this morning. So it took a second to figure out. But so my apologies on that. So, but the second piece of that is that the filing, the judgment for monies should be filed already and included with that paperwork.
It's not. You could really use a lawyer to help you with this. You didn't file the right side of thing. You filed a detail of expenditures and a couple pictures of some stuff, but that doesn't amount to a claim for supplemental damages. You've got to list what it is, how much is rent, how much is utilities, how much is court costs. So
Yep.
Just adding some paperwork. If you're in the Landlord Association, which you certainly should be, Ms. Richmond can help you with that. She does a good job with her supplemental damage complaints. So
Miss Richmond, sir, Miss Richmond did assist me with this. So I'm not sure what paperwork, if there's paperwork missing there. We walked through the entire packet. She's got a packet.
Yeah, there is no complaint for supplemental damages. You said you paid the fee for it. You filed a demand for non-payment of rent. You filed a 7-day notice to quit on a 30-day tenancy.
Come on. No, come on.
I don't want to listen to that. So anyway, you could file a supplemental complaint for money damages.
In there.
And
Come on.
Ms. Smith, I'm going to put you and your dog in the waiting room until we deal with your case. At any rate, he's moved, so the possession case can be dismissed. Mr. Giosa, we aren't done. There's a money damage case we still need to do. And Mr. Thompson, you agree he's given you his forwarding address?
We did a validation on the postal records, Your Honor, and that address is not registered to his name.
It doesn't have to be registered to his name. Do you get mail there, Mr. Giosa?
Yes, Your Honor.
All right. This matter is dismissed. We'll address it further when it comes to the issue of money damages.
Thank you,
All
sir.
right, you're free to go. All right, next is Benjamin J. Thompson versus Michaela Baker and Gabriel Houghton. They are here. This is also filed as a demand for non-payment of rent with the complaint for supplemental damages. How much is the due in rent?
If you just give me 1 second, I'll flip over my paperwork here.
I'm going to ask you that question every time. How much is rent? How much is utilities? And then we'll calculate court cost.
Okay, I included a list of expenses and receipts as well as the rent. Just give me 1 second. I'm gonna go
All
through it
I,
here.
all I want right now is the rent. You filed this as a demand for non-payment of rent. If they
Back,
paid their rent, they would get to stay there.
okay. Back monies owed for rent was $1,037.50.
Through when?
That was a couple months ago. I guess it would have been through February, Your Honor. So they basically got 1 month behind on rent, but then in addition to that, once they moved, we found a bunch of damages, and so those were listed in the list of expenditures.
All right, well, this is filed as a demand for non-payment of rent. We haven't got to the damage part yet. You did list waste management, container removal, liquidated damages, Ashley cleaning and painting, 650, painting supplies, 49, back rent, 1087. So what you're asking for is 3,756.18.
That's the total. That's the total of the damages, as well as the receipts. I also provided pictures there as well.
All right. We'll have a hearing regarding that, but we're
Okay.
not there yet. This is the possession hearing.
Understood.
Now, Mr. Houghton and Miss Baker, it looks to me, these pictures are terrible.
And
Make me want to get out of the landlord business.
we only have 48 hours to get out as well.
Tell me about that.
I was gonna be going to work that morning. We got a call from them. Was told to get out. I had called my cousin up. We had got a truck and we had moved everything out. The damages, I apologize for. Most of it was because of how narrow the hallways were when we would move furniture. Scuffs and whatnot would get on the walls. We moved everything out and gave him back the keys.
Did you give your forwarding address?
Yes. To a text message.
All right, here's how it's supposed to work. Your landlord doesn't call you up and say, hey, you got 8 hours to move.
Yeah.
Your landlord serves a notice to quit on you that says you have 30 days to pay the rent or move. If you don't pay the rent, then he sets a hearing before me, the first initial hearing, which is what this is. Then the law says you get 7 days from that day to have a second hearing to either try to get some financial assistance or some legal assistance. If legal aid was here, they would be having a field day with Mr. Thompson's failure to follow the law.
Sir,
At any rate, then you would have 10 days from that day to move, or you would be subject to being evicted. So in both of these cases, the tenant represents they were given less than 30 days notice to move.
They're both
Now,
incorrect.
by the same token,
That's both incorrect, Your Honor.
all right, well,
Respectfully.
stop interrupting me. I'll give you a chance to speak. This is their version. Anyway, they moved out. So again, the possession is unaffected and it's dismissed.
Respectfully, sir, that you have the notice to quit as well, the 5-day and the 10-day. And before that, we also received calls from both the city of Three Rivers due to the fact that there was issues from tenants that they let move into there that was against their lease. The people that moved into there prior to that, I'm surprised they haven't mentioned this at this point, Miss Baker and Mr. Baker. That,
well, you didn't file a termination of tenancy. You filed a demand for non-payment of rent.
I did. However, the people that were there and damaging, which they haven't mentioned, they basically let move in with them. So the damages were accumulated from both of these people. There were more than 4 or 5 kids living there at the time.
Well,
that I found out.
I don't. They trashed your nice apartment. These apartments above the stores are very nice, and I didn't like looking at this. It looks like somebody treated it like they didn't care at all. So I don't like it. But you didn't file a demand to terminate tenancy. You filed a demand for non-payment of rent. So if they had paid the rent, they would have actually been able to stay there.
And
So they had already vacated by the time you filed this, I think. But I'm going to give you your hearing regarding money damages. We'll take testimony under oath regarding how much damage there was. We'll apply the security deposit and add court costs and hear what they have to say. But this isn't the time for that. We'll try to set both of these for a damage hearing at the same time.
Understood.
Your Honor,
Yes?
he did give us paper to where he said if we paid rent within 7 days, we would be able to. And we had the money to pay that Friday. I let him know that we would have the money on Friday to pay. That Friday, before the 7 days was up for the payment of rent.
All right, well, we'll explore that further at the damage hearing, but you left this place in deplorable condition.
We
had 3 days.
Yeah, we were out of there, and we were out of
We were
there in a
gone.
day.
The
All right,
reason,
well,
Oh, and I grabbed everything that was ours and we left.
sir, respectfully, the reason that they left was because that they were under conditions that they with the police when they got called out for a domestic abuse case, that they had issues with the tenants that they allowed to live there with them.
all right, well,
So they said they said they left in 3 days due to that fact. By the way, they were calling me asking me what they should do to get these people out of their apartment because they let
who
them
were
in.
the other people that were in there?
They were friends of ours.
What are their names?
Carrie Haney, Isabella Clark, and I don't know Ben's name. I'm sorry.
So you let people move in, you don't even know their names. They help trash your landlord's apartment. There's going to be some significant money damages here. But we'll set that at a hearing. We'll block out at least an hour, maybe more, for testimony under oath, and hear both sides' final story. But as far as possession goes, he already has possession back. So the possession case is dismissed and we will have a money damage hearing. We'll hear both sides under oath. All right. That will be set probably either before the end of this month or early April. All right, thank you. You're all good to go. Mr. Thompson, I
Yes, sir.
could use some legal advice here.
Yes, sir. I talked to Miss Richmond about this already. The last lawyer that I brought in there with you did exactly what you and I are doing right now. We went through the same headache, so it just wasn't worth it. If you got somebody that is worth it for me to actually make sense, then I'm happy to use them.
Well, you do have a right to represent yourself as long as this isn't a corporation or a limited liability. If it's just Benjamin Thompson, owner, you can represent yourself. But it might be worth it to have counsel. There are a number of attorneys that do this, and I can't specifically, but Ms. Richmond knows who's good at it and who isn't.
I understand. I'll give her a.
But it's up to you. You do have a right to represent yourself, and maybe when you do more of it, you get better at it. But right now, we got some bumps in the road.
I understand.
All right, Mr. Giosa, when we do this the next time, you can't come by telephone. And I expect everybody to show up on time. We're already late because I sat around for 8 minutes or 9 minutes waiting for Mr. Thompson to come. So everybody else is backed up too. So when we do this the next time, you need to have a video connection and you need to show up on time. So I'll see you at the next hearing. We'll do both of these on the same day for your convenience, Mr. Thompson.
Understood.
All right.
Thank you, sir.
All right.